Hello, hello. Welcome back to another episode of The Well on TWC 247 Podcast Radio and coming to you live from the virtual cafe in Biscotti Park. Hey, Devra, how are you today?
I'm doing terrific.
Awesome.
And you?
I am doing great. It's Christmas week. Yeah, I'm excited. It's been an amazing year. It's been an amazing year. And so Christmas, I'm super excited. The 21st just happened. Did you go outside and look at the sky?
I wouldn't miss it.
Yeah, just amazing. We're having one of those years that we'll be able to tell the future generations, right? Of like, I was there when this happened. I feel like my grandma used to tell stories of her childhood, and my great grandma, I should say.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like we are living in one of those times. So Christmas is a sweet time this week. I'm happy to have Christmas coming.
Yeah. It's interesting because I've seen some reports that it's been thousands of years. In other reports it said it hasn't happened since for 800 years. So this particular alignment, I guess they align slightly every 20 years or so, but this particular alignment hasn't happened for 800 years. And then on the 16th, it's supposed to come in alignment with the moon. The moon is supposed to also be in there somehow.
Oh, wow.
That was awesome.
Interesting. Yeah. Wow.
You gotta Google that and find pictures of it if you missed it.
I did miss that one. I did. And it's hard for me to see things that aren't like, really, really amazing because I live in the city and it's never dark enough. So even when I stand outside and turn all of my lights off, it's still just this ambient light always everywhere. So
that's just one of the many reasons why you should get out of town once in a while and get out in nature.
Amen. Right? Oh my goodness. So what are you most excited about or thankful for, grateful for in this Christmas season?
I think I'm really grateful for my community, my family, my friends, the relationships that we've built online this past year. Ray and I celebrated our 48th anniversary back on December 9th, and that's pretty amazing. And I'm really thankful. I have an amazing partner. He's really incredible. But as I reflected on all the people who were making comments, there were so many of them who have lost loved ones either this year or in previous years that still were happy for us and celebrated. And I know, just based on my own life experiences, that has to bring up some kind of whatever. So I'm grateful for the people who love us and care about us, and for my family, and because it's all about relationships. And that's actually been the hardest thing for me this past year is even though I'm grateful for Zoom and phones, we talked about phones, is that in-person thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm especially grateful for the gift of Jesus. I just have to say that.
Yes, it's a gift that we have hope and light, and not everyone has that, and especially in this time right now that some people have no hope. And times like these, if you have no hope, you have nothing. And friendship is a gift as well. So absolutely.
And I just encourage people, there is hope. There is hope. And if you're in a space where that's what you're feeling right now, I just really encourage you to reach out to somebody. Mm-hmm. And join an online community. 100 coffees. The people here that are really caring and available.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I'm feeling very nostalgic all of a sudden.
I know. I start thinking about all that, and it's like I can just sit here and think, and we're supposed to be talking.
I know, and the silence on radio is not a good
Yeah,
not a good vibe. So maybe we should welcome our guest and
I
have
think
some
so because I'm really
chatting.
excited.
Well, I will let you announce our guest because this is a dear friend of yours specifically. So I would love to have you welcome her to the stage.
All right. I'm really excited to welcome my friend Cathy Weaver from Kansas City. And we're going to let her introduce herself because no one can really introduce themselves quite like Cathy. Go for it.
Awesome.
Welcome.
Hello, sweet ladies.
So
It's
you're here.
wonderful. Thank you. It's wonderful to be here, and I appreciate this opportunity. I was walking down memory lane with you too, just like you said, Angela, the nostalgia piece and Christmas coming up and what's going on with the stars and the alignments. And we basically got a little astronomy lesson today, so that was kind of fun. I'm Cathy Weaver from Kansas City, thus the at Cathy Weaver KC that you can see on the screen if you're looking on video. And the best news of all, I am a full-time grandma, which means I get to see my kiddos several times a month, which is kind of fun. And it was a little different during Groundhog Year, as I call it, but now things are opening up a little bit. So I get to see them a couple times a month, which is fun. Obviously, they're getting super excited about Christmas. And with just a few days away, everybody's going, oh my gosh, this is going to be awesome. So we'll see what the end part of this year is like. Just like you were mentioning, the hope piece. I mean, seriously, the hope piece. Can you imagine what this year would have been like if we didn't have the hope? So that was beautiful. Actually, I have been a Kangen Water rep since 2008. And that started my networking journey, which is how I got to meet Devra, which is now how I get to meet Angela. And that was phenomenal to me. I made a deal with God, and he loves my deals. He totally loves my deals. And I said, if the water works for my kids had health challenges, if the water works on their health challenges, I'm quitting my full-time job and going into the Kangen Water business full-time. That was 13 years ago, and here I am. So it's been a fun journey, and the networking piece has been awesome because I've gotten to meet amazing ladies like you.
Can you spell Kangen for those that are
Absolutely. It's Kangen. It's a Japanese word that actually means return to origin. And basically, we want to obviously keep our bodies as healthy as possible, cellular level wise. And I actually have the Kangen Water symbol in my front yard in one of my gardens, and I absolutely love it. The Japanese symbol for water is intricate and fabulous, and I really do love that piece. Kangen.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been super fun. That's for sure.
So, and I have actually sampled and seen firsthand what an amazing transformation that system does to water. And water, so this shows all is the well, right? Which
Yes.
is all about water. So
Yes, I love that.
very fitting, right? So water when I turn on my tap is different than water when you get it out of your machine. So so how does that work? What is that different? And you mentioned the benefits. So can you like kind of expand on that for those who haven't seen what it can do?
Absolutely. And we can get very sciencey if you'd like. Basically, Kangen Water, and the company's been around for 47 years. 1974 is when Enagic, which is the Kangen Water company, first started. Our CEO is amazing, and I am honored beyond belief. I actually got to have my picture with him at one of our events back in the olden days, 2000, I think 10. And as soon as you achieve different levels in the company, different ranks, back then there were not many of us. And so we'd go to the Marriott in Torrance, California, and we would be able to have our events there. And I still have my picture, of course, with Hironari Oshiro, and he is phenomenal. His wife is amazing. Their whole family and the philosophy is incredible. The technology piece with Kangen Water is basically the water from your tap travels through titanium plates dipped in platinum. The electrical charge that is introduced to the water is 230 watts. These are the reasons that no one else can come close to what Kangen water does, which is why I got into it. And as soon as the basic transformation, electrolysis, if you will, takes place, then out comes Kangen water. It's loaded with hydrogen. And as soon as you drink it, many people feel it pretty close to instantly. I had a lady in my kitchen one time because she wanted to see. A lot of people say, I'm pretty skeptical about this. That's my favorite. And she came in and she wanted to see what the water tasted like. And I hate to disappoint anybody, but it tastes like water. So that's her answer. As soon as she drank a glass, she said, "Oh my gosh, what is that?" And her lips were tingling. And so that really, you can tell almost instantly when you drink it. And then other people have said, as soon as they drink the water, in about 5 or 10 minutes, their skin is softer. And I've had that so consistently over these 13 years. It's not make-believe, it's science. And so the water travels over the titanium plates dipped in platinum. The electrical charge is introduced. The water is loaded with hydrogen. The molecular structure is changed. And you get, voila, Kangen water. So there's intricate pieces behind that, all of which is on my website. And it's so amazing. Our machines actually make 7 different pH levels. And that's why in this environment, I haven't had to do sanitary bleach wipes and all those kind of things, hand sanitize and all that stuff, because our water makes 2.5 strong acid water, and you get to use that for hand sanitizer. So it really is phenomenal. The technology is incredible, and I am blessed beyond measure to have been full-time in the business this long. I love my company, and I really do. Angela, when you tried the water, did you sample a gallon, or how much, what size sample did you get?
I want to say I got a gallon.
Oh gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we had, it was during networking, and she brought me a gallon, and
That's
yeah,
awesome.
it was awesome. It fascinates me because we're made of mostly water, right?
Yes,
God
ma'am.
created us of mostly water, and how water, people don't realize the value of water. And I know Devra talks about water quite a lot. And water is something we are made of, is something we put in ourselves. And the water you're talking about, transforming the actual water before you put it into your body, and then how that interacts with the water inside of your body. And because we're made up of water, it would make sense that, like everything else, what you take into your body affects your body, right, in that way. And water is one of those things that water's water, right? Water's water.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's one of the things that we mentioned too. And Devra, certainly with your awesome book, Wake the Health Up, and your YouTube channel, I'm a fan, by the way. People realize that as soon as you take a breath and breathe out, you just lost water. Mm-hmm. If you don't replenish that, dehydration is a real problem. Chiropractors and different massage therapists and even people that do facials one of the first things they check for is dehydration. And so you can tell right off the bat, you need to keep water with you all day long, at your desk, in your office, whatever your day looks like, because as soon as we take a breath, we lose water. And one of our physicians that's part of our Enagic family has said, as soon as you drink a gallon of Kangen water for 2 weeks consistently, you have basically cleaned out your cells and filled them with Kangen instead of whatever else you were drinking. And that's why we do a 2-week free trial, because after those 2 weeks are up, well, we can't make claims, obviously, but people have noticed a lot of differences in their daily life. A lot of people sleep better. Their moods are elevated. They just feel better. The dehydration is a real issue in our country, in our world. And most of the time it's what we're drinking. And yeah, in this environment, in Groundhog Year, people have been drinking more things besides water.
I love the Groundhog Year. Well, and even when the first thing you do when you get up in the morning, you should be drinking water, because you've done a lot of breathing.
Absolutely. Hopefully, yeah.
Especially if you're a breather.
Yeah.
I love that the name is based on origin.
Yes.
Because in so many ways, if we could just go back to our roots.
Oh my gosh. And that's one of the things that we talk about. When babies are born and you get that fabulous little chubby cheek smell thing going on, and babies just smell amazing. Mm-hmm. And the reason for that is they haven't been trashed yet with acidic everything. And that's one of the first things that we talk about. Babies are born alkaline, fabulous, wonderful. And then we do different things that maybe aren't a good idea. And by the time we end up in a senior living facility, that's not the same kind of smell. And so that is not waste, actually, that's acidic. And so you breathe in, and what you breathe out actually does have an odor to it if you are acidic and basically dehydrated. And that's how doctors can tell if something's happening when you go in for a visit. They can kind of tell by just the room. There is the acidity actually does have an odor to it.
Yeah, our natural odor should be non-existent.
Correct. Yeah, there actually should not be a smell. That's so right. And that's
even when you go poo.
Pardon me?
Even when you go poo.
Yeah, absolutely.
You go poo because of the, the odor, but.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we say. I have a poop emoji, if you will, a stuffed one, and that's what I use for a lot of my demos. And I always mention to people, bathrooms should never smell. And if it does, there's an issue going on, so you do need to fix that. Angela, I'm sure you're thrilled that you brought up this subject.
This is not new to me. When I hang with Devra, I know eventually we will be talking about poo. It just happens. It is a part of life.
Does it or should.
Yeah, I knew that would be a good factor. But it's funny to me that people, as soon as I bring out the poop emoji, they're kind of, and it's rainbow colored, so it's not quite as awful as the brown one. But as soon as I bring that out, they're sitting here going, oh, we're not going to talk about this, are we? And usually if I've got a husband-wife couple or several people in the room at the same time, that's when, yes, exactly like that. Yes. And mine is rainbow-esque. And very seriously, the wife will go, oh my gosh, you can't go in the bathroom for a year after he's been in there, or vice versa. And that's why I always say, well, bathrooms should actually never smell. And if it does, then we need to fix what's going on inside. And that's why one of our doctors is the one that says 2 weeks of a gallon of Kangen water a day, you'll notice a huge difference in all that. So again, we can't make claims and all those things, but it's so amazing for me to see the results. You know what? I love the ripple effect. And just like with what you ladies are doing as far as the episodes on the well and 100 coffees and all of those things that you're doing, look at the ripple effect that you have created. The people that you get to meet, the people that are in your community, as Devra was talking about earlier, it's so real. And the ripple effect with the Kangen Water family is ginormous. We're in 23 countries. And we have several offices in the United States. I've gotten to visit many of them in my bucket list. If we ever get the skies opened up again, my bucket list is to go to several more. So it's been a wonderful ride. I've loved it.
I have a question, and you probably mentioned this in the very beginning, but I was so intent on hearing all your words, I missed some of them.
Okay.
So when the water goes through the Kangen equipment, does it have to already be filtered? Does it filter it? Does it take
No,
out
absolutely not.
like chlorine and fluoride and all the other nasties that are in our water?
Absolutely. The first piece, as soon as you turn on the Kangen water machine, the water from your tap goes through our filter. We filter out just about everything. I've got schematics and charts for that. As soon as it goes through the filter, then it goes through the electrolysis chamber, which is basically ionization. And the ionization word is what people are basically looking for. The ones who know that electricity has to be introduced, it's an ionizer. And that's what these machines are. They are ionizers. There's many, many, many different ionizers in the marketplace today. And the reason I chose Enagic and Kangen is, first of all, they've been around forever. 47 years is amazing. Second of all, because of my skepticism, I will be honest with you, I decided I needed to go to our headquarters in Los Angeles. As soon as I went in there and I realized what was happening, people are coming in the olden days, not Groundhog Year, but people used to be able to come in, fill up 1 gallon container and take it home to their families. And that's what they did. They gave away free water. And then I got to go one step further and see our service department. Oh my goodness, they are phenomenal. We are OEM. And that stands for Original Equipment Manufacturer, which means every single piece of these machines is made by Enagic. So we don't ever have to worry about waiting for this or waiting for this part or some other company went out of business. Enagic is our company, and we are the only ones that is OEM. And I'm so glad.
They know what's in the equipment as well.
Oh my, absolutely. Well, it's actually all of our machines are created in Osaka, Japan. And that factory is obviously very white. Everything is medical, medical, medical. And so it's a very white environment as far as everything is sanitized, antiseptic. It's phenomenal. And that's another thing that I love about it is the company is real. They have shown us pictures of the factory. Osaka, Japan is actually one of my bucket list items. Again, if the skies open up, and we are treated like royalty when we go over there and we get tours of the factory and we actually get to see our machines made. So for water geeks like me, nerds, we're going to see that.
Wow. That's awesome. And you mentioned that the reason that you actually started this journey was for your own family's health.
Uh-huh. Absolutely.
So how has having your business and how do you walk out? Because one of the big things we love to chat about here is how you get to walk out your faith and use your business as a testimony in your life and to others.
Yeah, that's so beautiful. Jesus is the number uno in my life. And that's one of the reasons I named my business Miracles with Water. So for those listening, miracleswithwater.org is my website. And my logo, I had a person create it for me. And I said, I need purple. And the reason for purple is alkalinity. That's basically the chemistry symbol for the chemistry color. And I wanted green just because I love it, because we are a green company. No chemicals, nothing. As far as once you have a machine, you don't have to use laundry soap. You don't have to use hand sanitizer. You don't have to use any of that because we have 7, again, pH levels of water. And so I wanted the green. I wanted the ripple effect. I wanted the water drop. And I'm sure this tech person doing the logo is going, oh my gosh, just let's do miracleswithwater.org and get over it. And I said, no, I want Jesus Christ in the center of my water drop. And he goes, what? And I said, I want the majesty. I want the cross. I want the whole drill. And honestly, my logo is phenomenal, and not yay me, but yay him. It's the ripple effect. And so when people see my company, my logo, I have several items that I wear when I'm out networking that have my logo on it. My car has my license plate that is actually Miracles with Water logo. It's phenomenal. People stop on purpose, like when we're shopping. Oh my gosh, this is your car. What is Miracles with Water? And it really is the ripple effect, and the Jesus piece is right in the center. So you never have to question where your success comes from when you've got him walking in faith. As far as my kids are concerned, my daughter had a health challenge, and she's the first one. And she came over and she saw the water machine, and she goes, "What is that?" And I said, "Well, it's a water machine." And I said, I didn't have any health challenges, but she has. And so I said, if this water works on your health challenge, I'm going into business full time. And she said, let me have some. What is this? And so she started drinking it. She bought a machine on the spot because she wanted it for her own household. And needless to say, her health challenge is no longer. And then my son came over, and he goes, "What are you doing, mother?" And I said, "This is a water ionizer. Oh my gosh, I'm hoping it's going to help with your issue." And he said, "Mother, water is all the same." And he starts the guy thing. And I said, "I understand. I promise I get it. I was the same way." But I said, "Listen to me. If you drink 1 gallon a day," because the good news is both kids were great water drinkers. They were just drinking reverse osmosis and several other kinds like that. And that's not a good idea for many of us. And so I said, as soon as you change your water and start drinking this instead of what you've been drinking, I'm hoping it's going to take care of your issue. And he came over to get water. He works not too far from my home. And he came over to get water. And I was still working, of course, at the time, because I hadn't decided with my deal with God if this was going to happen. And so he came over. And one day I happened to be home when he came by to fill up. And I said, "Oh my gosh, how is your condition?" And he goes, "Well, it's completely gone, but it can't be your dumb water." And I said, "My dumb water. Okay." And so anyway, I said, "That's fantastic. Effective immediately, you are cut off." What? And I said, "You are cut off. How are I going to know if it's the water if I don't cut you off?" 3 days later, ladies, he said, "Get me one of those things." And again, I've never looked back. So I did quit my job, much to the chagrin of my coworkers and my boss. But this has been a ministry, just like you were talking about, Angela, the Jesus piece. It is 1,000,000% a blessing, Kangen water. And then I've also written 3 books, and Jesus guided me that way because I'm not an author, I'm not a speaker. And guess what? I'm now an author and a speaker.
And a trainer.
Had a plan. And a trainer, yes. Jesus had a plan, and I thought, well, okay. And I follow along, and he loves my deals, and I'm sure he can't wait for the next one.
So you have a personal connection, huh?
Yes, I do. Yes.
The truth is, we all do, right? We just don't engage it sometimes.
Absolutely. I can't imagine, honestly, where anybody could be if they didn't have Jesus just right on in their heart all the time. He guides my steps, thank goodness, because I can't imagine how I would mess things up if he wasn't driving this bus.
Oh, yes. Amen. Amen. Mm-hmm. So is this an under the sink unit, or?
We actually have several models. Mm-hmm. We have several models. One is under the counter, as they call it. If people don't want it on their countertop, they're only about the size of a coffee maker, so they're actually not even cumbersome. But obviously, when people walk in, I've lived in my current home for 25 years, if you can imagine. And imagine this. 13 years ago, when I first heard about this, the place the water machine goes is directly under a spotlight next to the sink. As soon as you open the front door, down the hallway, the first thing that you hit is my water machine. Imagine how the Lord had my marketing already taken. But that really is where it goes. You turn on the spotlight and people always go, ta-da! Yeah, there you go. And it's pretty funny. But we have several.
So I need a spotlight in my house?
Yeah. Yes. You can put a spotlight right there with your book right next to the machine. That'll
So what are your 3 books?
Well, actually, the first one, and again, when I started networking in 2008 full-time, I found out pretty quickly that even Jesus was not going to have people knock on my door and say, hello, I'd like a water machine, por favor. And so, and so I thought, I'm going to have to network. How do I do that? And so one of the first places I went was our local Chamber of Commerce. And every single week there were 200 people at these events. And I went, holy moly, I better think about how to do this. And so I basically jumped in with both feet. That was, oh my gosh, on steroids, as we say. So I started networking everywhere. And when someone would invite me somewhere, I said yes, because I never think of those things as accidental. And so I started networking everywhere. And people said, oh my gosh, you network all over the place. You're everywhere. And I said, well, yes. And so they said, you're kind of like the networking queen. And I'm like, oh, yikes, I don't know what that means. And so one day somebody said, would you speak to my group about networking? And I'm sitting here going, I sell water machines. I don't know a single thing about this speaking thing you're talking about. And so I did it because I don't usually say no. And so I basically had bullet points. How do you do this? Where do you do this? Speaking to people, what side to wear your name badge on, shaking hands, having business cards, that whole drill. And all of a sudden somebody goes, would you speak to my group? Would you speak to my group? Would you speak to my group? And it kept doing this. And I was like, Lord, this is no longer funny, dude. I sell water machines. And so the next thing you know, to get my attention, Jesus kind of has to hit me in the head with a brick. And so he said, Catherine, sit. I said, oh my God. And he told me to write a book. And so I actually have one here, believe it or not. So this is my first book, Networking on Steroids. And he gave me the name because I literally was going everywhere. And I just went, oh my gosh, this is kind of like networking on steroids. And I went, oh my goodness, there you go, Lord. And so the funny thing is, I don't know if you guys know this about me yet, but I'm a little teensy bit OCD, just a little. And so networking on steroids was the domain name that I wanted to buy because I want my book and all that stuff to match miracleswithwater.org, et cetera, et cetera. That was already taken. No book by that name, but the website, the domain name was taken. So I had to make networking-on-steroids.com. That makes an OCD person nuts, by the way. And so my son is a genius, cyber-wise and geek-wise and all that stuff. So he put something out in the world that as soon as networkingonsteroids.com came available, I wanted it. So now, thank goodness, whoever had it relinquished it, and now I have that. And so when the book happened, all of a sudden you guys, it is Jesus, 1,000,000%. All of a sudden, people from all over the country found the book, saw the book, would see one person getting a speaking gig, et cetera, et cetera. And I have literally been able to train the United States Chamber of Commerce, IOM, Institute of Organization Management in Madison, Wisconsin, and I was on faculty for them to train the leaders, the community leaders from all the chambers of commerce across the country for one of their classes. How does that happen? I sell water machines, and it really is phenomenal. And the book, honestly, it's on Amazon actually, but I want to interact with the people who actually make the purchase of the book, because for me, the feedback part, let me train your team, let me help your group. And now that we can do everything by Zoom and different platforms, oh my gosh, it's been phenomenal. And then my second book is, this is called He Hit the Clouds Running and Never Looked Back. And that is a story of grief and a journey of survivorship. And I've had several instances in my life, death issues, and people who have died before me. Most people say, I'm sorry for your loss. And that is a cliche, in my opinion, gets you off the hook, makes you feel better for having said it, whatever that is. But it made me nuts when several of my people close to me had died, and I didn't lose him. He died. If I lost him, I could find him again. And the good news is, as believers, I know exactly where they are. At the right hand of Jesus. Is that not where we're all aiming for? And so I call it homecoming. And so I don't call it, I'm sorry for your loss. I hope your memories bring you comfort. And so different things like that is what I say, because I'm sorry for your loss makes me nuts. I didn't lose him. He died. If I lost him, I could find him again. And so basically that's what has happened with that book. And guess what Jesus is doing in that? I have been contacted by hospice and palliative care locations, as well as funeral homes, to train, oh my gosh, to train their people on how to not say, I'm sorry for your loss. I crack up every time I get a call or an email, and I'm always like, Lord, I sell water machines. I do not do all this training stuff you want me to do. And here we are.
So I have a question for you.
Okay.
Are you still telling God what you aren't?
Oh, Devra, I am sure as soon as he hears the Cathy Weaver hotline thing going on, and he goes, oh, again, it is her again. This is impossible. Yeah, he loves that. Lord, guess what? I'm only a water machine salesperson. And he's going, Catherine, and we get one. So guess what happened in Groundhog Year? All of a sudden, I'm seeing all these people on Zoom, and all of my groups, of course, are no longer in person. Devra, I feel for you like cray-cray. I know what that means when you said you haven't been able to network with all your friends and everything. It's a whole different world now. Mm-hmm. What does he tell me in June of Groundhog Year? Catherine, you need to write another book about post-quarantine networking. No, thank you, Lord. I'm up to my ears. Quite frankly, the water machine sales went nuts this year because of the hypochlorous acid and the no more hand sanitizer and all that stuff. Because in our stores around here in Kansas City, we were running out of hand sanitizer, bottled water, all the cases of stuff people were buying. So that our business this year has gone insane, actually, by the grace of God, of course. But you have unlimited supply of water forever. You don't have to buy cases. Who wouldn't want this? But in June, he decides, I'm writing another book. I said, Lord, no, thank you. I don't have time. You know how well he listens to me. So Networking on Steroids PQ was born, a guide to networking in a world post-quarantine. And every time he gives me a word like that, I go, Lord, I sell water machines. And that's all I know how to do. And, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And now I got to train a college here in Kansas City. They put all 5 campuses on the Zoom because obviously we couldn't travel and be in the room with the students and everything. It was incredibly efficient. All the staff was helping with the questions in the chat, and I had the PowerPoint going on. Oh my gosh, you guys, it's a whole different world. Yeah, God loves my deals.
And you're an expert on Zoom now.
Yeah, yeah. That was another accident. Lord, I don't know how to do Zoom. I don't do technology. Yeah, so here we are. You guys get the brunt of this one too. So here we go.
Cathy, can I introduce you to my friend Angela?
Yeah.
She's a button pusher too.
Yes. See, yes. I need to have Angela train me on everything social media. Yes.
But she's
Angela.
I don't know how to do this, so she learns how to do it.
Yeah, I don't really know how to do anything. I just do it until it works.
Yeah.
And then I share what works.
That is a perfect way to say that. I don't know how to do anything either. I just keep trying and working it out.
And I'm in recovery, not saying, oh, I don't know how to do that, so I'm not going to do it until I know how to do it. So I'm grateful for people who have said, kind of laugh at me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
In love. It's all in love, but yeah, just push the button. So now if I'm doing live or something and I say, if I push the wrong button, I'll see you. See you when I come back.
Right. I'll find you next time. It is hysterical, some of the things that have happened on my Zoom calls. But it works. And as I said, I don't know what's going to happen when Groundhog Year is over, but it's really going to be interesting to see if any of I know Missy has been such a big part of your networking in Las Vegas. And so by having her groups sometimes they meet in person, sometimes they do Zoom, sometimes they do both. So a lot of your groups might be back to quote in person. I don't know, but around Kansas City, that's not the case.
Yeah, there's some stringent distancing and masking, and so it is an option, but we're believe it or not, Las Vegas is a very small town. It's a big city, but it's a very small town, and so people are connected. So she's talking about Missy Day. So Missy Day,
that's Missy Day.
Yeah, Missy Day.
Yeah, I just call her Missy because everybody in the world knows Missy Day, right?
Yeah, Missy Day Success Consultant. Check her out. Anyway, she so there's some in-person things, but some people just can't meet in person. Or they're compromised, or somebody they love is immune compromised.
Absolutely.
So it's a good alternative to be able to be on Zoom. So I'm grateful. I am grateful for technology that still allows us to be connected.
But, can you imagine what would have happened back in March when we first shut down in Kansas City? A lot of my groups in person, Chambers of Commerce, and several groups I actually ran myself. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is not going to happen. And so I thought, let's just meet on Zoom for a couple of weeks because surely this will be over by April 1st. And so it wasn't. And so I had one group literally that we had done like 45 Zooms just because I wanted different trainings and things to continue. Another group is not necessarily set up that way. So the Zoom thing didn't work for that. And some chambers have tried it also. I don't know if your Chambers of Commerce do Zoom meetings, virtual platforms, but oh my goodness, keeping people together was one of the things that we really tried to do here.
Yeah. I think it's important for people to, especially people who are isolated and need some personal connection, they have a way to do that.
Oh, absolutely.
I have to know though, how did you come up with the name of, there's a lot of things we could call 2020. I'm just curious how you landed on Groundhog Day.
Groundhog
Year.
Yeah. Well, the Groundhog Day part, obviously the movie has been playing about 1 million times now. And Groundhog Day, and a lot of my groups and things, when we say, what day is it? What year is it? What this? Let's set up an appointment. I said, well, I'm happy to set up an appointment, but you're going to have to tell me what day it is. We can work from there because it was, Groundhog Day, it kept doing this. And then every time we turn the page on the calendar thinking, surely this is going to be over by now. And it still isn't. So it just felt like Groundhog Year to me. And so I just adopted that because it really, when you see people, and even on social media platforms, virtual platforms like this, when you would see people, and Angela, I'm sure that you would notice this too in some of your other groups, people's shoulders are down. People are just, their chins are down, their demeanor is down. And I thought, oh my gosh. And so I took it upon myself, of course, thank you, Lord, to rev it up a little bit and get people excited and start paying attention and let's do this. And then I would say Groundhog Year and they'd laugh and I thought, okay, I'll try that again. And so, and I really did. And I have props, as I call them, close by always. And that I would put reindeer antlers on or whatever would happen. I know, this is the truth. And it's one of those kind of things. I have these available, and even this, which is always the one that gets people going. These are the things that literally I have to, because they are downtrodden, oppressed, whatever that looks like. And I can't afford that in my groups. I need energy and positive thinking and all that stuff. And then one of my networking friends and now actual personal friend is a naturopathic physician. So Doc and Queenie was born. And so that happened in August, and it really, the phenomenal reach, just like you ladies have experienced with your communities, the reach has been incredible. Doc and Queenie is Girl Chat with a Faith Twist, and we do it every single Monday at high noon Central Time. What happens with that momentum? And it has to be fun, but we were noticing the shoulders down, the chins down, a bit of oppression, hopefully not too much depression. And I thought, oh my gosh, we're going to have to rev this up a little bit. So I'm sure that you have probably found some of that in your communities as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we started actually with a coffee shop because people were like, I can't get out, I can't visit with anyone, I just want to have coffee. And so we started pretending like, hey, we're going to act like we're in an actual coffee shop. And so we opened up a coffee bar every morning. We took coffee orders or whatever you'd like to drink. And we actually go find pictures and we serve coffee online. Oh my God. So people got in the habit of like looking forward to coming in for their morning cup of coffee and visiting with their girlfriends. And so it's become a hangout for people to come and get encouragement and just have a little, humor, maybe drop a meme or get some even one-on-one time. They'll even say, hey, is anyone open to sit and have a coffee, which would be like a virtual chat. So it's been an amazing year from that. And there's been many blessings and growth and things happening that would not have happened if we did have access to what was, pre Groundhog Year in other years, right? It's spawned like amazing virtual opportunities for women to grow and really it kind of unlocked some women's like spiritual gifts came out, because when you get into that imagination mode of when you were a younger child, all of a sudden we like unlocked things and people said, wow, I always wanted to do this and I don't know why I never did, and now I can, because you can do anything online. There's no limits. There's no rules. All the rules went out the window for the year. So,
businesses were born, or they were shifted and pivoted, and, all kinds of amazing things. But it just kind of reminds me that, what we think is horrible, and sometimes it can be a challenge, and there has to be some change of a thought pattern for ourselves to embrace it and to accept it. But if we just look for that positive in every single thing that comes along, because we can find positive in everything. Speaking from experience, if we can concentrate on that and hold on to that, then look for those good things that have happened and see what God has done in the midst of this 2020 year, the Groundhog Year, all the wonderful things that have happened. And I think when we do the pluses and the minus list, God's list is abundant.
I felt guilty. The success of my business and people needing machines because of the cases of bottled water being gone and they can't find hand sanitizers and all that stuff. And I was feeling guilty. And then I instantly went, oh my gosh, Lord, I'm so sorry. I am feeling guilty for the blessings that you just showered upon me. How does that work? And then I'm feeling guilty because I wrote a book, How to Teach People How to Network Post-Quarantine. And I thought, how am I going to feel guilty about that one if somebody's blessed by hearing how to do this? And I train teams now, and people that I meet through networking and friends like you guys, I don't charge for that. Now, schools and larger entities, of course, but people that just want their teams trained, or they have a health and wellness business and they want that group trained how to network effectively, PQ, as I call it, that's a different story. And I instantly was going, oh my gosh, this is an opportunity to let Jesus shine in other groups that maybe you wouldn't be able to say that. The blessing of my water business, oh my gosh, the blessing of my third book, oh my gosh. And it begins to give it back to him.
Yes.
God be the glory.
So many things this year, looking back, and even as we were in the midst of it, occurred to me that, sometimes we have this view of like things are happening to us. But this year, a lot of things I have seen are happening through us. Like he's activating believers to literally, we've been preparing all these years and we didn't even realize. Like you had the water business all these years
Absolutely.
because he knew that people were going to need to come to you. He threw you into networking because he knew people were going to need you. And so we've been preparing for this groundhog year for years. But those who are ready and who have been waiting to be activated have been released onto the world in a whole new way. And he's been allowed to shine through those who have been taking up the calling. And it's been beautiful to watch. And I love just the picture of the ripple effect that you are being blessed to start. And this is just the beginning. I just know it.
It feels like the beginning. My Doc and Queenie partner is Dr. Laura Christine. She's a naturopathic physician, and her website is revdoc7.com. Well, the Rev part is she's an ordained minister, and I was drawn to her at one of my networking groups almost instantly because her faith just almost leaks out of her. Her Jesus connection is like, oh my gosh, you meet her and you instantly go, I want that. And she's just phenomenal. And so one thing led to another, and we talked water, of course, and health and naturopathy and all those things. And then the Jesus piece kept shining through. And I'm just telling you the truth. Doc and Queenie community part, girl chat with a faith twist. And I'm just sitting here going, Lord, I don't do talk shows. Lord, I don't do Doc and Queenie. Lord, I don't do Doc 7. Lord, I don't do logo stuff. Lord, I don't do green screens. Catherine, shut up. And I'm going, oh my God. And I mean that. I hear that stuff coming in him all the time because I'm sure he's getting so sick of it. I don't do this. I don't do that. How's that working out for you? And so, honestly, and it's just been phenomenal, the blessings that keep happening. And again, like you said, Angela, it's a chance for him to shine through us. And I'm just always cracking up that he's using me, but he does.
I love that. And it's been such a joy getting to know you and reminding me of the amazing benefits of the Kangen water. And now I'm going to have to reach out to you again on that. But any parting thoughts, ladies, on for our listeners on the Christmas season, the groundhog year?
Well, for me, again, the networking piece has been so huge. And my prayer used to be, Lord, I sell water machines. I need to support myself, my household, my car. I mean, all those things. And all of a sudden he said, change your prayer. And I said, what? Because I kept going, I got to sell water machines. If I don't know how to sell a water machine, I'm going to lose my house. I don't have a car payment. Oh my gosh. And again, Catherine, shut up. And so he told me to change my prayer. And this is back in 2008. I had been doing fine a couple months here and there kind of deal. And I thought, oh, this is not going to work. I need accelerated. Let's go. Change your prayer. And I instantly heard him say, dear Lord, put me in the path of someone who needs me. Oh my gosh, the skies exploded. And here we are.
Yeah. I love that. It's always so simple, the answer that we're looking for.
Oh my gosh. Yes. If you need any deals made between you and God, I'm your person to help you with that.
Awesome. I love that. And I'm sure I'm sure that there's more to come from you. You'll have to keep us posted on all the other things you've told God you're not doing.
I was going to say, we just have to listen to Cathy say, no, I don't know how to do that. And we'll know that's what's coming next.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I don't do StreamYard. So here we go.
Here we go.
Uh-huh.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much for your time today and visiting with us. And I'm sure that we will be hearing from you more, and hopefully we'll see you in the coffee shop.
I hope so. I can't wait for that. Thank you so much for having me. Merry Christmas.
Thank you for being here. Yay. We wish you nothing but love, hope, peace, and joy.
Thank you, my friends. You too.